Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Streblo with the National Tank Truck Carriers. Thanks for joining us for the April edition of NTTC News. With your association full swing into 2021, I'd like to share with you the areas of focus NTTC has established on both our legislative and regulatory efforts. Over the past few months, NTTC's Advocacy Committee has worked diligently to create a tiered platform and establish our strategic legislative and regulatory priorities addressing top issues in the tank truck industry, as well as supporting issues impacting all of trucking. The guidelines for NTTC's tiered approach are separated into 3 levels. Tier 1 items will address the tank truck specific issues where NTTC will lead the legislative or regulatory effort. Issues in Tier 2, NTTC may lead or follow the lead of an industry partner, tackling both tank truck specific and general trucking issues. And Tier 3 efforts will address those issues impacting all of trucking, where NTTC will support those working in the best interest of the industry with limited committed resources. Earlier this month, NTTC's Advocacy Committee worked with our Executive Committee to unanimously approve the following legislative and regulatory priorities. NTTC's Tier 1 priorities will concentrate on 3 issues impacting the tank truck segment. Dry bulk axle variance, where we will continue to work with legislators to accept a 10% axle variance language in the next infrastructure bill for commercial motor vehicles transporting dry bulk goods, increasing the maximum weight on any tandem axle trailer to 37,400 pounds while leaving the maximum laden vehicle weight untouched at 80,000 pounds. NTTC is also focused on our petition efforts with PHMSA, where we seek the acceptance of electronic shipping papers or shipper certification in lieu of the current required hard copy shipping papers to accompany the shipment in the vehicle. And rounding out our current Tier 1 efforts, we seek to improve highway safety with the reform for hazmat truck requirements at highway rail grade crossings, removing the requirement of all trucks carrying hazardous material to come to a full stop at highway rail grade crossings. In our Tier 2 priorities, we will focus on lawsuit abuse reform, or also known as tort reform, addressing the root cause of increased insurance rates and unjustified verdicts driven by plaintiffs' attorneys. Defining independent contractors, as NTTC advocates to protect the long-standing independent contractor model utilized by a large portion of the trucking industry. F4A, where our efforts will continue to oppose a patchwork of state wage and hour rules and regulations. And an issue which continues to grow, impacting all our carriers and fleets, workforce development. NTTC strongly supports reintroducing the Drive Safe Act with Congress, increasing the outreach and expansion of training opportunities into the trucking industry. Finally, our Tier 3 priorities retain issues from supporting the investment in infrastructure funding, improving the current CSA measure, the elimination of redundant security credentialing and background checks for commercial drivers, the requirement for all intrastate hazmat carriers to obtain a US DOT number, federal excise tax repeal, minimum insurance requirements, and monitoring the legislative push for underride protection on commercial trucks and trailers. Addressing each of these issues impacting the trucking industry is critically important to help shape the landscape of our industry. NTTC is committed to working with legislators and regulators to come to a common ground, moving both the tank truck industry and our nation forward. I would like to thank members of NTTC's Advocacy Committee and Executive Committee for their tireless effort to lay out our advocacy roadmap. For further information on NTTC's legislative and regulatory priorities, please visit our advocacy efforts at tanktruck.org. Thanks for taking the time to hear about NTTC's advocacy efforts. And from all of us at NTTC, take care and be safe.